Will the Astros avoid the arbitration process with all 8 of their guys that were eligible for arbitration? That's good news. They can move on to other things. They've talked to Verdugo, and we'll talk about the Grae Kessinger trade on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
Can't hear you. I can't hear you. Can y'all hear Eric? All right. Hey, guys, this is H-Town Wheelhouse with Locked On Astros. We're your team every day. Thank y'all for tuning in. He's Eric. I'm Brett. You know where to find him. You can go to Eric Talk Stros. Find him on X. You can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find the show at pretty much anywhere you get your podcast. You can find the show when you go to X, when you go to Instagram, when you go to Facebook. I mean, it's everywhere and anywhere that you get your podcasts, and go to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to us and make sure that you make us your first listen every single day. Still can't hear you, Eric. That's weird. We had everything lined up, and then this. There you go, Eric. Go ahead.
Test. Okay. All right. I don't know how that happened. I guess I turned the mute button off. So,
You're
guys,
good.
thank you for making us first listen. And today's episode is brought to you by somebody. I had it up here. Actually, it's what's today?
Eric, brought to you by Gametime. Gametime is America's best. Actually, it's brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. The NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. New customers can get $5. Can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed win or lose. Go to FanDuel.com today to get started. So, Eric, you have in the show right here, Astros reach an agreement with all the arbitration eligible players. That's definitely a good sign, especially with someone like Framber Valdez.
Yeah, last year, Mauricio Dubon was the only guy that did not reach an agreement with, and they went to arbitration with him. And so the Astros typically are a team that they're not afraid to go to arbitration. That I know it's a business, and we've heard players in the past say, like Kyle Tucker. I've seen a lot of people on X Day say, well, that's a reason why they had to trade Kyle Tucker, because they went to arbitration with him. That's not the case. This is a business. It's part of the game. But if the Astros have any idea of trying to keep Framber Valdez, it's a good thing to actually go ahead and reach agreement with him, and not go ahead and say, well, we don't think you're worth this much because of this and this and this. So I think with somebody of like Framber Valdez, I think reaching the $18 million settlement with him is a good thing, and it's not that far off from what a lot of projections were. It was, I think some of them had him at 18 point something, others 17.8. So it's about where the projections were. And so I think it's a good deal for Framber Valdez. And some people might say, well, maybe they could have worked in an extension while buying out this last season arbitration. But I think at this point, Framber Valdez is looking to actually try to test free agency like we've seen Alex Bregman try to do.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he will, and this will be kind of his swan song season. Will he remain a Houston Astro? I know he's a guy the Astros would like to keep, because he's becoming more and more like a unicorn and not what is normal in baseball. You can throw out there 180 to 200 innings, and you don't worry about the guy's durability, and that's what he has.
Right.
He has the nasty breaking pitches. When he's mentally focusing on, he has potential to throw a no-hitter. He can be clutch in the playoffs. We've seen him fall apart in the playoffs, but he's been through his ups and downs, and he has endeared himself to this club, to this culture, to this town. And so to see him in another uniform would be kind of tough. If he were to exit stage left and go somewhere else, Hunter Brown becomes your ace by default. But I think it's good that all the guys that were eligible for arbitration, you settle with them. You don't have to go to an arbiter. You don't have to go tell the player how much they suck and how much they stink at their job to not pay them what they're asking for. And then, maybe if one of these guys does, well, maybe you catch lightning in a bottle, just like with, guys like Chas McCormick, how are they going to do? We talked about numbers. If, Jake hits 250 or 260, let me tell you this about Chas McCormick, Eric. Chas McCormick is projected to hit 15 home runs, 54 RBI, 14 stolen bases, a 103 WRC plus, and a 1.3 WAR. It's better than nothing. It's not bad. It could be a lot worse. So I'm glad that they got them all back. Jake Myers, I believe, was Dubon one of the guys wasn't he one of the 8? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and go through the list in a second, but I believe that if you're looking at what Valdez was expected to get, FanGraphs projected him at 17.8. Spotrac projected him at 18.8. So the Astros and him agreed about 18 million. So that's a pretty fair deal. So the Astros luxury tax payroll is going to be about 244 ish. So they're still over the luxury tax threshold. So let's go ahead and talk about what they did. Mauricio Dubon, he got over. I know a lot of people are like, well, that's overpay for Dubon. Well, Dubon's earning. He's got the Gold Glove. He's done a lot for this team. He saved your franchise basically 2 years ago when Jose Altuve missed the entire season. Not the entire season, but most of the season. So he made $5 million. Luis Garcia actually agreed yesterday, but it's included here, 1.875 million. Then also you have Brian Abreu, which is probably one of the best deals in baseball with what he does, 3.45 million. Chas McCormick, 3.4 million. Isaac Paredes, 6.625 million. Jake Myers, 2.3 million. And Jeremy Pena, 4.1 million. And I believe also he gets 50,000 if he makes the All-Star team.
Okay, cool. Interesting that we're talking about all these arbitration cases being avoided. Well, guess who didn't avoid arbitration, Eric?
Who?
Former Houston Astro Kyle Tucker. Check this out. The Cubs' newly acquired outfielder Kyle Tucker could not come to an agreement on a salary for 2025. The Cubs filed 15 million and Kyle Tucker's camp wanted 17.5. So there you go. And, if Kyle Tucker was here, they probably would have been in the same boat. But look, Kyle Tucker knows what he's worth, and he is going to test free agency. But I am very pleased with the Astros doing what they did, taking care of business of these guys, and now we can move forward. Pena's got 2 more. He's not a free agent till 2028.
This is his first year of arbitration.
Yeah, right. And then Dubon isn't a free agent until 2027. Abreu, McCormick, and Garcia are all free agents in 2027. So, it'll be interesting to see what the Astros will look like then. But again, you bring back guys that have been a part of this club. Dubon, who, may not be the best bat on a consistent basis, but he has the ability to hit in key situations.
Right.
He can play all over the field. He has value. And so, like I said, it's definitely good to take care of, get your stuff in-house taken care of. It's a lot less to worry about. They can really focus on getting another bat.
Yeah. And so going back to the Tucker argument, I don't think the Tucker thing, them not coming to agreement, that's going to affect the long-term, the Cubs' ability of re-signing him. But the fact that they're not willing to give him that $2.5 million to make him happy, that shows that they're not going to give him what it takes to do that. So I think the writing's on the wall that they're probably not going to give him what he wants to stay here long term. He's probably going to go somewhere else. He's probably going to go to either I hope he doesn't go to LA, but he's going to go to somewhere where they're going to give him a lot of money to play baseball. And Kyle Tucker's worth it. So I think what the Cubs did is they're like, hey, we have a chance to get a superstar. What if he comes over here and we get a chance to sign him? Maybe not as much as Juan Soto, but maybe for some money. But I think it was a risk, and I think the Cubs took a risk. So, guys, there's another risk the Astros could make. I know a lot of people are like, this outfield, it's not that good. So we could talk about who the Astros kick the tires on next. Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and make this first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check us out.
Not only do I love going live with you guys and girls on Locked On Astros, but I love going to live events with Gametime. And Gametime is a place that you can go for sports, music, theater, comedy. I mean, I was just looking at the Gametime app, and they've already got rodeo tickets posted. Have you seen that lineup? It's insane. And I can tell you right now, if you're looking for tickets to any of these events, the super deal is really impressive to me on this. They offer great seats at unbeatable prices. Plus, the app's all-in pricing shows the total cost up front with no surprise fees at checkout. You can go like the day of the event, get those tickets on Gametime. It's really that easy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app and create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime.
Hey guys, thank you for making us first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check us out. Apparently they just released a lineup, and I've been waiting all day for this, and I totally forgot about it. So, there's some names on here that are interesting. Post Malone, definitely. AJR is a band I would like to go watch. Luke Bryan, maybe even some.
They've got Reba, they've got Party, they've got
Brooks and Dunn. That's the one.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've got some good ones. I think they got some good ones this year. I still don't know that I'm going to go. The tickets are ridiculous, but hey, I'll send you a link to someone who sends me half off carnival tickets if you want stuff like that. I may go to the barbecue for the first time this year. I've never gone to the cook off, and you can get tickets to that, so that may be cool. But speaking of rodeo and speaking of like taking chances on someone that's got moxie, the Astros checked in on Alex Verdugo. Alex Verdugo has kind of a little bit of he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, or he plays like it. And he's got kind of this, he doesn't give a crap attitude when he's out there on the field, which might bode well for the Houston Astros if they can get him on a good deal. I mean, I know a lot of people say they don't like him, but I'm not saying he's going to be the same like Alex Bregman moxie, but Alex Bregman was kind of that firebrand. Maybe he needs something like that on this team. I mean, maybe Alex Verdugo, who's been in Boston, who's been in New York, maybe he needs to come to the Astros and be with the bad guys, be with the horrible cheating Astros and make a name for himself and piss off Yankees fans and Red Sox fans and help them out. I don't know how much he's asking for. Someone said about $10 million, but at the end of the day, the Astros are still going to have to move some contracts or something, I think, to sign him. Maybe they get him on a one-year deal. What do you think about Alex Verdugo, Eric? He hits well, I think, in Minute Maid Park, but what do you think overall the player just to fit for the team?
Interesting enough, when I was looking for a picture for the thumbnail, I was going through pictures trying to find something, and I saw the Aaron Judge miscatch, and Verdugo's actually in that picture. But Verdugo is definitely somebody that's had some good success against the Astros, and I think that's a lot of Astros fans probably have some animosity because of that, because I remember him having some big hits against us in his career. Last year, he did make about $9.2 million last year. So He's still only 29 years old. He's not a old guy. He's not a young guy. So I don't know if you're going to get him for 10 million. He's coming off of a down season. Last year, he batted 233 with the
Right.
Yankees, 13 home runs. He did have 61 RBIs. Overall, he's been just a guy, okay guy throughout his career. He's had a pretty good batting average. It's kind of gone downhill the past couple of years. He has career 272 batting average with a 742 OPS. But I think he's going to be better than anything besides if you're going to put Alvarez in outfield. I think of everybody you have right now, Alex Verdugo will be a better option at this point.
Well, and I mean, you could also use him as a platoon where when you have a right-handed heavy pitching staff, he could go in there, in left field. I mean, he hit, I think the most home runs he's had is 13. And, everybody focuses on that. He's hit 13 home runs 3 times. Now his projected total for 2025, Eric, is 259 average, on base percentage of 321. Slugging percentage 396, a WOBA of 314, and a WAR of 1.3. So, I mean, his numbers project to be better than they were last year. They do project him to have fewer plate appearances, play fewer games. I don't know why that is. But look, at the end of the day, if you're looking to help the outfield, you're looking to get a quality guy.
Right.
If it's Verdugo, if it's Grichuk, if it's out of those two, I would take Grichuk over Verdugo. But if you can't get anybody else, I mean, I don't think it could hurt.
Right.
I mean, maybe I'm short-sighted. Maybe I don't know everything about Verdugo that everybody seems to know about him, but I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah, I know that Chris Cotillo said that the Astros have checked in on him, not meaning they've offered anything on him. So we're probably just speculating here, but Spotrac has the market value for him is about $15.2 million per season. As market value, because he's young. He's only 29 years old. So it's saying 4 years, that's $60 million per year. So I don't, sorry, not per year, for the 4 years, sorry. So I don't know if he's going to get that much, but I could see him getting around, maybe to rebuild his value, I would say getting around 12 million for maybe 2 years, 12 to 15. So I could see that possibly happening, if not with the Astros, with some team. But he is still a player that could make an impact on a team like the Houston Astros. And he's a guy I wouldn't mind the Astros going out and get. The comparable players is Andrew Benintendi, Brandon Nimmo, Brian Reynolds, and Ian Happ. And
So some people in the chat are asking, like, do we have any left-handed bats out in Sugarland? And actually, we have 2, and they're both outfielders, Quincy Hamilton and Jacob Melton. I don't know that. Well, neither one of them are on the 40-man, so you would have to make some moves in order for that to happen. But those 2 guys, they're left-handed bats. They throw left. They bat left. Quincy's had I think a really decent career down there in AAA. Melton came up, and once he came up, he tended to struggle a little bit. He had a lot more swing and miss than they'd like. But Melton definitely is one of their top guys. Cam Smith came in and kind of took his spot as a top prospect in the system. But you do have 2 left-handed bats in the outfield right there. So yes, we do have left-handers that are in the wings. Now, Greg Little says he'd rather have Jesse Winker, but last time I mentioned Jesse Winker, someone's like, Jesse Winker's a jerk. And I'm like, wait, how do y'all know all this stuff about these guys? Like, how do we know, like, what these guys are like? Have we, like, interacted with these dudes? Look, I know Verdugo does have a little bit of an attitude, and I've heard about some clubhouse things here or there, but I don't know. It's like, it's all hearsay. So Verdugo's actually 28 he'll be 29 in May. So yeah, I just looked up I think his birthday is May 15th. So he'll be 29 in May. And Emilio asked, do you know what's with Bryce Botcher skipping spring training with us to play football? Yeah. Because he's wants to play football. He might actually make more going to the NFL. So that's why he's doing that. But he had the option to do that. So that's on them. But he was a 16th round guy. I mean, come on. Are we really looking for for Betcher to come in and like change the tide in Houston? I don't think so.
Well, he's a third round pick. The Astros, they probably knew that he was kind of a risky pick, but they probably didn't know that he was gonna want to go back and play football. So what they're doing is they're going to retain the rights to him. So he's going to go play football with the Oregon Ducks, and then he's going to go ahead and report to spring training next year. And then,
sorry, I said 16th round. He was a 13th round pick.
13th round.
13th round pick. Yeah,
okay.
He was not not a third round. Yeah.
Maybe I saw the 13, and that's why I thought 3. But
I will say this. Eric, in his hype video, going back to Oregon, he's carrying a bat. That kind of got me jazzed. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, maybe go knock some heads off, and then come knock the ball out of the ballpark of Dyken Park.
If you remember Roy Oswalt, he was a draft and follow, and so where they drafted him and let him go back to college, but this player is no longer eligible to play baseball, but he's able to play football because he was a walk-on. He actually won an award for the best walk-on player. And so he just wants to see what happens. And if he ultimately plays baseball at the Astros, we'll see what happens. But we don't know what's going to happen. But what we do know is that nobody else can draft him. We'll go and continue this conversation next. Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Go ahead and subscribe to us, and we will see you in a second.
Whether your draft picks pursue the NFL or come to spring training, it doesn't matter because FanDuel has you covered. From big upsets to game-winning drives, the NFL playoffs are better with FanDuel. I mean, the Texans are hosting LA. That's right. We got to beat LA this weekend because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. The FanDuel app gives you everything you need from live bets, same game parlays, and so much more. Look, I love going there because I know right away who's on top, the over under, who's favored, who's not. And what is cool is like I get all the information in the app. I can see what's going on when play-by-play is happening, and I get a hunch, I can place the bet right there. So just visit FanDuel.com to join today and get started with $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com. Make this playoff season unforgettable with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go ahead, subscribe to us, make us first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts, go ahead and check us out. And I see a lot of y'all saying, well, I wish we can have the money to sign Jurickson Profar. That guy's a better player than Verdugo. Well, funny you should say that. Spotrac actually has him his market value at $12.9 million, which is actually less because he is younger. And like I've been saying, he doesn't have the consistency. Yes, he's had some good seasons, but he's also had some down seasons. That's why he's kind of been a journeyman throughout his career. But his market value is 2 years at $25.8 million for the 2 years. So the Astros could totally go out there. And I don't know why this is not even anything going out there. Actually, I do. I take it back. I know exactly why Profar is not being mentioned, why Verdugo is not really being mentioned. The salary, the luxury tax, they don't want to pay it. So unless they move Ryan Presley, I don't see any other additions.
But they did make a trade, Eric. They made a trade. A local kid from Atascocita Humboldt High School played at Rice. He was Matthew Linsky. They traded Grae Kessinger to the Arizona Diamondbacks. He was a 16th round pick in 2023. And he posted a 2.75 ERA. Eric, this kid struck out a lot of people. He had a 13.4 strikeouts per 9 ratio. The kid's 6'7". He's a big kid. That's our second guy we've gotten that's pitched in Arizona that's 6'7". Maybe are there any Randy Johnson Juniors out there? You know, I mean, do you remember Randy Johnson when that dude threw the ball? It was like his hand was crossing the plate. But who knows? This kid's 22. He finished in high A ball. He can move through the system. We've got a lot of guys in front of him. We've got the Peckos. We've got the Gordons. We've got those guys in front of him. But this is a move, Eric, that you move Grae Kessinger. He didn't really have any value. He's a solid infielder, solid fielder. Bat didn't really play in major leagues, and so they're kicking the tires on him in Arizona. We wish Grae Kessinger the best of luck. Actually interviewed him 3 days before he was called up to the Astros. So good dude, good kid, comes from a solid baseball family. But there you go. There's a trade. I mean, the Astros are doing something.
Well, it's good that they DFA'd somebody and actually got something for it.
100%. True.
Yeah, so they DFA'd him after they signed Christian Walker, so that's a good move. So the Astros have also added Zach Short, a former top infield prospect. He played with the Pirates, I believe, for several years, and the Twins, I want to say. But he's just another depth option, and they also signed another minor league, a veteran to a minor league contract. I forgot his name, but there's what they're doing is they're just trying to bring in as many people to camp just in case. And I just wish that they would do something like that for the outfielders. There's got to be some veteran outfielders out there that, hey, we might have a job for you in outfield. We have Chas McCormick. We have Jake Myers in outfield right now. And that's basically it. Dubon can play the outfield, but we don't want to stick him out there. We have Alvarez. We don't want to put him out in the outfield too much. We have some young guys that could come up, but we could have a spot for you. Yeah. And so somebody like Verdugo, somebody like Profar, I think this could be an opportunity to say, hey, we can't really pay you a lot this year. Maybe we can have a option for next year or something, but we want you to come here. We want you to win a World Series. How about you come in here for a 1-year deal? We'll see what happens next year. We could probably bring you back for more if you do good, but we're kind of restricted this year because of the luxury tax, and we just don't want to pay again. But I know players don't really care, but at the same time, they know they want to win a World Series. And I know you sent me a power rankings before the show, and the Astros were what, 9th?
Yeah, they're 9th in the power rankings. I mean, you know, you got LA, Philadelphia, Yankees, then Mets, Braves, Padres, Orioles, Diamondbacks, Astros, Brewers. And so, you know, 9's not bad, but I think they're going to need to make some moves at the trade deadline, Eric, if they're truly going to compete for a World Series, because the league is heavy-handed on the National League side. Los Angeles, Philadelphia, the Mets, I mean, those teams right there. The Padres aren't going to be slouches. The Diamondbacks are going to compete. The Brewers always put together really good regular season runs. They just never seem to do it in the playoffs. Maybe that whole like, what was his name? Bud Selig extorting the Astros. You know, maybe it's the curse of the Astros is why they can't make it in the playoffs very far.
Okay, sure.
I liked it. Dude, I love that. I can't stand Bud Selig. I think he's the worst commissioner baseball's had in 50 years. Worse than Rob Manfred.
I really think that Jabu helps the Astros win games.
What does that have to do with Bud Selig being the worst commissioner ever?
No, you just said that the reason why the Brewers haven't won.
It's a curse. Yes. Did you hear about the curse of the Bambino? Did you hear about the curse of the GOAT in Chicago? I mean, come on now. We used to have a curse of Nolan Ryan, you know? I mean, look, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, don't mess with the baseball gods because they are real, bro.
Yeah. So Kessinger, I'm glad the Astros were able to find a partner for there. I think that some point they're going to have to trade somebody else. They're going to have to get shed some salary. And I know after not the last podcast you did, but the podcast we did together, somebody corrected us about it's not just because they trade somebody that the salary from when they were on the team, that still counts. So we're aware of that. Yeah. So we're aware that, let's say the Astros traded Farmer Valdez. I'd hope they don't, but at the trade deadline, we're aware that the money he made at the beginning would still be on the tax. It's all just part. Yeah.
So Supreme Panda has asked us a couple times about the City Connect jerseys. Dude, we have no idea. They haven't done any announcements for any regular season. Remember, they don't roll those out until I don't think they'll do them before the season. So we don't know, man. I mean, you'll know when we know, you'll know. I mean, just watch the wire. And that's your answer. But I think at the end of the day, Eric, going into the season, it's going to be exciting. We still have guys like Yordan Alvarez. We still have Yainer Diaz. And look, I mean, I really look forward to seeing what Jeremy Pena does at the plate this year, where they put him in the lineup, how the lineup is structured. I mean, how does Chaz perform? How does Jake Myers even contribute? I mean, we've seen DeCenzo and other guys down there in these leagues learning how to, Jacob Melton learning how to hit opposite field, almost looking like, Kyle Tucker out there, taking the ball the other way. So I think there's a lot yet to be known about this team. And it's going to be one of those up and down type seasons, Eric, where I think there's going to be some highs. I think there's going to be some lows. But in the end, if they put it together, you still have veterans on this team that know how to win.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are mentioning Jason Hayward. The whole situation, the Astros would love to bring Jason Hayward. His post-tax salary is $1.5 million. So that's not a lot of money, but remember that they're already over the luxury tax threshold. So they're trying to get under. So until they find a way to shed some salary, I just don't see them adding any more players. I hope I'm wrong. Jason Hayward, I think, was actually a good addition to the team last year. I think he brought the leadership.
A good addition. Yeah, I mean, he's still got life in those old bones of his. I mean, he's a good clubhouse guy. He's a guy you want around, and Houston's notorious for that. That's why I think people naturally push back on Verdugo.
Yeah. So, guys, I think that's all we got for this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey, and we will see you. I guess it's Friday tomorrow. I can't even believe it's already the weekend. So, guys, have a good weekend. Stay safe out there. I know it's going to get a little bit cold tomorrow, a little bit rainy. So, go ahead and stay safe. Go and have a great weekend. And as always, Brett,
go Stros.
We'll see you tomorrow. Sunday, go Stros.
Good job, Eric.